shop floor at UK Games Expo 2015, and I'm here at the Ragnar Brothers stand with Steve, who's showing off his new game that's currently on Kickstarter, Barking Up the Wrong Tree. Tell us a bit about the game.
Well, it's a game about dogs, cats and trees, and if you like dogs, cats and trees, this might be the sort of game for you. It's fairly straightforward. It's about 10 minutes for 2-player, 30 minutes up to 5 players, so that's maximum playing time, about 30 minutes. In 5 rounds, you start off with 3 cards each and a cat. Next round it's 4 cards, next 5 and 6 and 7, and more trees each round. So the game kind of powers up as you go along. Start off trying to do it with 1 or 2 dogs winning trees, and then towards the end of the game you might have 4, 5, 6, 7 dogs all barking up the tree to try and win the tree. So the more cards, more trees you win, the more chance you have of winning the game, because that's where the points are. And the more different dogs you have up the tree, the better chance of getting those trees to win the game.
So, how's the game work?
Well, one dog could win 1 tree by barking up it, but then 2 dogs would beat 1 dog. So 2 Chihuahuas will always beat 1 Great Dane. However, 1 Great Dane will always beat one Chihuahua. So there's a little bit of matching up and playing cards against cards, which is all very straightforward as long as the dogs on their own are involved. But as soon as the cats get involved, all hell breaks loose. If a cat goes in a tree, instead of just having 1 breed of dog come in the tree, you can have a whole multitude of dogs ploughing onto the tree. So play the cat cards carefully, use them wisely, and see if you can monopolise the trees you want to monopolise to get the most points.
So where did you get the idea to make a game about dogs barking up trees from?
Well, we were kickstarting our previous game, DR Congo, which is coming out on June 10th, which is quite a serious game and about the recovery of a great nation and making it strong and rich again. And at the same time, the Exploding Kittens Kickstarter was happening. And while we were racking up £10,000, they racked up nearly 9 million. Gary emailed me and said, "Oh, look at this." And my response was, "We've been barking up the wrong tree, Gary." And I said, "That's a great name for a game. Let's do a game on barking up," which was a bit of a spoof to begin with. But then it's just one of those games that the more we did it, you kind of thought, you know what, this is actually a lot of fun, and it really works. It's a real Ragnar game. It's got a lot of fun, it's light-hearted, it's quick. It's got the sort of competitiveness that people enjoy without getting too upset about. It's good for kids. My wife actually quite likes it as well, which is remarkable.
You mentioned there, you alluded to like it's a Ragnar game. You've got quite an eccentric British style, I think is the best way of putting it.
I think we've just got a British style, which is eccentric, isn't it?
So when you're designing the games, do you actually say, hang on, this is what we need to make a Ragnar Brothers game, or does it just come naturally?
Well, so it's a bit of both. It comes naturally to do it the way we do it. But what we do is we always start from a theme, apart from possibly our word game, which was just a word game. But I think every other game has always started from a really strong theme. And to some extent, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily passionate about dogs, but it's my daughter's dog, Barney, that features in our video, and which is the original stray dog in the thing. So I guess I was kind of getting into dogs myself at the time, walking in the park. So it always starts from that kind of genuine interest in something, and then just wanting to have fun with friends who play in the same way we do. And that has to be a little bit eccentric, I think, because we want to have a lot of banter around the table. We don't want to be too serious, but we want to know we're playing a real game, because we're very competitive and we don't like things to be rough at the edges.
This is your 3rd Kickstarter, is that correct?
Fourth
Kickstarter. How's Kickstarting work out for you? I mean, obviously you haven't got the success of Exploding Kittens, but I don't think anyone in the absolute world does. So how has that process been for you as a British company, really?
It was a no-brainer and a must-do for us to go to Kickstarter. With so many games now in the marketplace, the way we were doing games before, printing 1,000, trying to sell them, is just not really going to happen. The spotlight of the market is so focused on the new game, and Kickstarter is so much that spotlight, that we just left with a shed load of games, literally a shed full of games in our case. So we had to go with Kickstarter, and the first one was actually relatively easy, Promised Land. It maybe just was an unusual theme. I think it worked well for people. But it's got harder, because there's more and more games out there, more and more people do it in very clever ways. And this time with our Kickstarter, it seems to be, and I don't want to criticise Kickstarter too much, but we were not launched on their new games page. So instead of getting like a massive £1,000 start, which we've had every single time, one day we were £50 up. And you kind of go, ooh, that's a long way to £4,000 now. So if you're out there, please support us.
You say that in the past you've typically made about 1,000 print runs then, so are these games bigger, the last few Kickstarter games? What the kind of print run size have they been?
No, our games, well, we've varied, and we're in quite a distinct policy ourselves at the moment, because we've always had what you might call the big Ragnar game, the serious game, and the smaller Ragnar game, the card games, lighter games. We're trying to alternate the two, just because I think that suits us and it fits with our ability to knock games out in a sort of given time scale. So the first ones were wanting about 10,000. This is a £4,000 game. That's how much it costs for us to do the artwork and a print run for 1,000 copies. We don't get the money that we need to distribute. So until we've actually sold more than the Kickstarter at 4,000, we're actually not even in profit. So we need to come to Expo and sell to people here to get a bit of money, or sell to retailers and move on from there. And we've been at it 25 years and we're still not very good at it, really. We've still got our day jobs.